Today we're reviewing the new Parfums de Marley CASTLEY. Now I've had this for about 10 days and I've worn it every day because I really wanted to get to know this fragrance before giving it a review. Now on the screen are the listed notes for CASTLEY and I'm going to tell you what notes I get from here. So the main notes I get from CASTLEY is it's a citrus opening, it's a citrus spicy opening with that black pepper note. I love black pepper, I love cooking with it, I love the smell of it. It gives the fragrance or gives fragrances a fresh, spicy, almost clean feeling. It's a spicy note, but it almost smells kind of bright and fresh at the same time. So it's a citrus spicy opening with ginger, neroli and woody notes. I don't know what woods I'm smelling exactly, but it just smells like clean masculine woods in the base notes. It smells clean, it smells professional, it smells like a semi-sophisticated fragrance and just an easy-going men's citrus fragrance. To put it short, this smells like a masculine citrus fragrance with slight aromatic notes. It's not something you haven't smelt before. It's a fragrance DNA that's been done many times by different brands, and it's quite an obvious journey from citrus spicy notes down into an aromatic mid-notes down into a clean masculine woody base. But because it's Parfums de Marley, it's well done. I haven't smelt anything from Parfums de Marley that makes me think the fragrance is a cheap fragrance, or it's not made very well. It's not made with high quality ingredients. With all the Parfums de Marley fragrances that I've tried, you feel like you're getting at least some sense of quality for the money that you pay, and you feel like you're getting a fragrance that's well balanced, well thought out, and there's not anything that's missing from the fragrance. And that's how I feel with CASTLEY. It smells really nice, and I think most people are going to enjoy the smell of this. It smells professional and smells like you can wear it to any situation. Now, I've seen some people online compare CASTLEY to fragrances like Blue Talisman by Ex Nialo, which I do own, and also Imagination. In my opinion, I know those two fragrances really well. It doesn't smell anything like those two fragrances, particularly Blue Talisman. I don't get any of that fragrance DNA, that fragrance in here at all. Just doesn't remind me of Blue Talisman or Imagination in any way. I mean, Imagination is a similar fragrance profile in a way that it's sort of citrus heavy in the opening and it goes a bit slightly aromatic and it's maybe a bit woody in the base notes, but really it doesn't smell anything like CASTLEY, at least in my opinion. What CASTLEY smells most similar to out of the fragrances I own are firstly Sedley from the same house. It definitely has some remnants of Sedley in here. Although I think Sedley smells much more enjoyable and much more exciting, much more lively. I think the smell of Sedley is much better than CASTLEY. And also, another fragrance that it smells slightly similar to, but only about 30%, is one of my favourite niche fragrances, Boisé Impérial. Now, Boisé Impérial by Essential Parfums is much better than CASTLEY because it's much more interesting. It has this mineral-like note. It's really interesting. It's really strong. It has really good performance. If anything, it can be sometimes overpowering performance if you spray quite a lot of it. But I love the clean mineral smell you get with Boisé Impérial, and it has a really nice woody base notes which almost make it smell like a second skin once it's been on your skin for a long time. CASTLEY does have some similarities to Boisé Impérial, but I think Boisé Impérial is much better than CASTLEY, at least in my opinion. Also, Parfums de Marley have another fragrance called Percival. I'm sure you would have heard of this if you've known about Parfums de Marley for any length of time. This is also a fragrance that has a slightly similar fragrance profile to CASTLEY. So we've already got Sedley, we've already got Percival. I don't know why they necessarily needed to release CASTLEY. And when you're reviewing a fragrance, you know, it's easy to say something smells good because most fragrances are designed to smell good, unless they're like an ultra niche fragrance that is made to smell really artistic or divisive in some way. Most fragrances in the niche category like Parfums de Marley that make easygoing fragrances, or in the designer world, they're made to smell really nice and pleasant, and that is the same with CASTLEY. But I'm trying to give you the point of, if you need it, is it worth spending £220 on this when you already own maybe Sedley, maybe you already own Percival, or maybe you already own Boisé Impérial, or you're thinking to buy these fragrances. If I was just a normal consumer, didn't own my fragrance sample website, I personally wouldn't buy CASTLEY because I don't think it gives me anything different. I would save over £100 and I'd buy Boisé Impérial, or if I wanted to buy a Parfums de Marley fragrance, I would go with Sedley because I think Sedley is a much more enjoyable and more exciting fragrance than CASTLEY. Now, one of the reasons why I'm slightly disappointed with CASTLEY, even though it smells really nice, is the performance of this. Now, this is why you should try fragrances before you buy them. Certainly, you shouldn't be blind buying any fragrance. Even cheap fragrances, I don't really recommend blind buying, because you don't want to clutter up your bedroom or your wardrobe or whatever with fragrances that you don't enjoy. Even if they're only £20 for a bottle, it's no point in blind buying something if you don't know how they smell, because you're going to end up not using that fragrance. It'll collect dust, and you'll even lose money on it as well, because the resale value won't be the same as when you bought it new. So, especially with these niche fragrances, not worth blind buying them, so I would sample everything before you buy it. But some people will get good performance with CASTLEY. I personally don't get very good performance with it. The scent lingers on the skin for quite a long time, but after like the 2-hour mark on me, it is just a skin scent. So you'll get the remnants of it even like 8 hours later. You could still just about smell it on your skin, but it's really faint, and it's not like a fragrance that people will be able to smell. This is like my experience with it. So I get actual performance, probably like 2 or 3 hours of longevity with CASTLEY. And I just think for the money that you pay, I've already got fragrances that do a better job and the same price or cheaper, like for example Boisé Imperial, which I mentioned a minute ago, and also with CASTLEY I get better performance as well. So I don't think the performance is very good with CASTLEY on me, but you should probably sample this if you're interested, so you can see how it works for you. As I mentioned, CASTLEY can be worn to any situation. You don't need a particular time of day or year or whatever to wear this fragrance. If you like the scent profile, if you like how this smells and it really works for you, you can wear this to any situation, any time of day. It's really versatile in that way. And now we're going to get on to the verdict. So I think CASTLEY is a little bit of a boring and bland release from the brand. The last fragrance we had was Perseus, and I really enjoyed that fragrance. It's a sort of take on the Terre de Hermes line, but it does it in its own sort of modern way, and it's really nice fragrance to wear, very good performance. So I really like Perseus. I think with CASTLEY, it's a fragrance, it's almost like they've released something because they thought that they had to, because it's like that's the thing now, isn't it, with fragrance companies, release something every year, every 6 months. So for me personally, it's not a fragrance I really enjoy. It's not one I'm going to be wearing that often, to be honest, but that's mainly because I've got so many options to wear, and it's not a fragrance that does anything different for me than the other fragrances I've got in my collection. So if I was you looking to buy a fragrance like this, I would sample them all. I'd sample CASTLEY, I would sample CASTLEY, because I think you might really enjoy that if you like the idea of CASTLEY, and do sample Boisé Imperial, because for the price that you pay for this, it's really wonderful. So the rating I'm going to give for CASTLEY is a 5.8 out of 10. Maybe that seems harsh. Try it and let me know what you think yourself. Now, I'm curious to know, once you've tried CASTLEY, please leave a comment and let me know what you thought of it, because I'm really curious to know if you think the same as me. See you soon.